Hey everyone, it's Rambling Hour with Lisa, season 22, a new season, episode 1. And I'm coming to you live from the dining room. There is a lot around me right now, and I'll explain why. I'm just going to do this quickly. How is everyone? How was your week? What have you been up to? April is over. We're in May now. So hopefully for a lot of you who haven't felt it yet, hopefully spring feels like it's there or on its way. Just open up the old Facebook on my iPad to check my sound, which is probably fine. I charged my microphone a little bit before. I have my light really bright. It works fine for what you can see, but when I look at you and then I look at something else, I can't see very well. The internet is taking a minute on here. Oopsie, there we go. Okay, so there I am. And there I can hear me. So we'll just take the sound off and we can have this over here in case then I can read comments closer to me. And we can go on with our evening. There we go. Standing it up, having a drink, and then let's chat. Cheers to May. So what's around me? I have candles lit in the fireplace. I don't know if you can see them. I'm going to sit on the floor as well for a little bit when I show you guys some stuff that's around me. This says, success is mine to attain. All my toil is not in vain. This is from an old witch casket. Oh, that's the back. The front is witch casket exclusive, positive incantations, a collection of spoken spells to add magic to your daily life. So that's the one that I have it on for today. There's so much going on here. Just charms and necklaces and different things and wands and pendulums. This is a wand from outside. It's dry now, but I was going to carve it and do things with it before it dried, but it's just a wonky wand. So, I mean, I don't know which direction that wants me to put its energy, but why do I have all these things? Because Steve made the mistake of saying that I get all this nice stuff from Witch Casket and then I hide it up in the cupboard. So I am a witch coming out of the cupboard, out of the broom closet, and it's not going to be on display like this per se, but I am trying to find a home for everything so it looks natural. It's funny, when you have it all up in one room, it seems like you have so much. And what do you do with it all? But now when I'm putting it into different places in the house, like I said, all my pestles and mortars in the kitchen and stuff like that, it doesn't seem like too much, except when I'm still have it out like this because I don't know where I want to home everything. So can I see on there? No. So if you look over here, oops. Oh, speaking of what I just pulled you out of, give me a moment. I don't want to break anything because I'm good at that. Okay. I'll just tilt you. So if you look up yonder on this shelf here is where I've put all my witchy books. And again, it seemed like I had lots and they all fit on one shelf. So that's something. And I have my little cauldrons up there and I have stuff on the mantelpiece. This is my latest painting from class and it is pretty much finished. I just need to add, it's like April showers, but it looks more like sun than rain, which is fine with me. But I just need to add a little bit of the leaf shape into this here, up here. And otherwise it's done. So I haven't signed it yet because I sign them when I'm done. But that's up there. And some of the stuff I'll go over with you because putting out summer decor and that. So what was I going to show you? So the books over there. And then we're going to go down. I'm sitting on a stool, but I was saying Steve bought me a new, and I don't know if I can get it this much lower. Okay. Steve bought me a new Oh, Steve bought me a new ring light that's not broken, so I can work with it gently. So we had this cabinet here, and it was we bought it on Marketplace, and we thought it would be bigger for some reason. We pictured it like taller, and I don't know what we pictured, but just pay attention to measurements and stuff when you're buying stuff from Marketplace. They did say it was for CDs, so we should have like gone by the size of a CD and thought about it, but we didn't. So we didn't know what we were going to do with it, and so it was in the bathroom for a bit, and I had toilet roll in it, like toilet paper, because they kind of fit in it, and towels. But now I found the perfect thing for it, and I'll show you guys. Ta-da! I'll bring you guys over a little bit. It is perfect for all my card decks and stuff. And I have some other stuff in here right now, but all the card decks and, and then now when we want to do like a reading or a card deck, I can just go and find the cards, just pull out the ones that we want. And in this little box here, I have all the little decks, well, except this tiny little tarot deck, just a novelty item, right? So those are the tarot ones specifically. But in this box, I have things. And when I was struggling last week with putting 3 cards up, or how we do a 3-card, like past, present, and future, 3-card pull spread. This is a card holder. I have a card holder that my sister-in-law Tara gave me after my brother died too. I have a card in it, though. I showed you guys before. It's got something in it in the office. But so instead of struggling with like a little one like that for 1 card, I can use this one for our 3 cards. And when I told you guys you could just do 1 card pull, this is like a card of the day, which is, so yeah, use it or lose it. I'm going to start using some of these things like this we can use today. So I wanted to show you guys this. I'm really happy about this. And you know what else this would be good for? Actually, now that I think about it, if you are a closeted witch and you don't want people like seeing all your stuff and everything else, this would be a perfect workspace, because it even has like this right here to be like your altar. And then you could have your tools and your different things that you use and do your work right here. And yeah, and you could have all your stuff there and then just hide it away. But the card decks is what I'm using it for. So I'm happy with this space. And then I have this cupboard, and I emptied a lot of stuff so I can put, but like with candles and incense, we already had lots of candles and incense before I started getting stuff from Witch Casket. So putting them together is, there's like so many drawers of candles. This is how much incense we have. Can you see in there? You can kind of see it's full to the top, but all the Witch Casket stuff's on top. And like, there's just candles in so many of these drawers. So I have to burn candles and use them. This is a statue made of wood that I got from my Auntie Lorene, and I put it out every summer. I don't know why, she just screams summer to me. But there is the maiden thing, right? Like with witch stuff. So that's what we're going to talk about right now as well. Is this says hello summer, this mat. So I put out the summer decor, and it's perfect timing because this weekend is May Day. And it's interesting. I told you guys, like, not only do they celebrate pagan things here without realizing it, because it's just always been a thing, even if the Christians tried to suppress their beliefs here before. But like, this is what they call bank holiday weekend, which we call in Canada a long weekend. So Monday's a holiday. And when I asked Steve what the holiday was, they actually have 2 long weekends in May. But this one, he's like, it's May Day. And I'm like, well, what do you mean May Day? And I'm like, do you mean like Beltane? Like, he's like, May Day. And I'm like where you do a maypole and everything, the festivals. And he said, yeah, well, people used to go to festivals, but I said, the festivals there is still festivals. It's just like, we might not go to them, but there is still festivals this weekend for May Day. So the holiday, this is actually a long weekend celebrating May Day. And whether you do it in the pagan way or the Celtic way or whatever, basically it's like, how you have a harvest festival in the autumn. I know that Thanksgiving in Canada and the US has a negative connotation now because of the indigenous and what the pilgrims did to the indigenous. But Thanksgiving is just basically based in one of the harvest festivals, right? And giving thanks for the harvest for the season. So Beltane is a festival right now for the changing of the seasons, the spring and coming into summer. So we are going to learn together. I printed off some stuff and I'm going to read it to you. So maybe I'll sit back up on the stool because on this, you can see my maypole there. This is stuff that I need to organize still. But over here, I did a little display so bees are a thing. So I brought him out. Butterflies. And this is a goddess, and you can put a crystal right there. That's from which casket. So there's bees on this that says home. The sun, which I have the sun, and I have butterflies on that. And then my maypole, and another butterfly or moth. And so there's just stuff like that I like being on the floor, but I don't know how. I'll just push you out because I can use the iPad if I need to answer any questions or whatever. If I remember how to do this, hang on. So if I press, there is something here that will show me comments again. I can see me struggling about how to do this. So enjoy me trying to figure this out again. Come on, it was a simple thing. It was this. Let's go. If I go back, that's not right. If I go to my name, guys, it was a simple way before. It was just like a little arrow or something. And now I don't know. No. Ugh. Sorry, guys. If you remember, I was going to say put it in the comments. Is there any comments? No? Okay. So edit, post, who can comment on this, rate your experience, delete, change video quality, be notified, something went wrong, only me. That's what went wrong. And then that's mute and that. And then I can press that. Just like touching the screen everywhere. What if I turn it this way? Oh, there's the arrow. Oh, I see. But, and comments. So I have to have it. Oh, maybe I have to have it this way then. That's fine. Okay. I think I have. Yeah, I think I will be able to see. Oh, I don't want to comment myself, but I think I can see the comments now. Maybe that's why I couldn't see any comments because there just isn't any yet. But, okay. So I'm going to move the stool out of the way. I'm going to get my notes. And I'm going to dry my glasses, and then I will read to you guys. So I don't know the definition of Gaelic exactly, and then Celtic Gaelic. I know the Celts were in Ireland, Scotland, and even France, and then but Gaelic specifically, I know they speak Gaelic in Ireland and Scotland. So I know that my ancestral roots do come from there if we do DNA, but it's so hard these days to know exactly, like, with cultural appropriation and everything else. But what I do want to say is that if you don't know what your DNA is or your heritage or, whatever, and you don't want to step on toes, just know that there's these types of festivals all over the world, because even when I was reading this or looking into what you would put up on an altar for Beltane, it's like, well, those are just the things that I put out for my summer decorations anyways, because they make sense. Bees and sunshine, and do you know what I mean? So usually I don't put my summer stuff out this early. However, it's the same thing. We see that the flowers are blooming. We see that these, the colors associated with things are the colors that you would see out right now and stuff like that. So I'm going to tell you, this is from Wikipedia at first, and it just says Beltane, and it's spelled different ways and different pronunciations. So is the Gaelic May Day festival, marking the beginning of summer. It is traditionally held on the 1st of May or about midway between the spring equinox and summer solstice. Historically, it was widely observed in Ireland, Scotland, and the Isle of Man. In Ireland, and it goes into the names, and I'm not going to do all the names. It is one of the 4 main Gaelic seasonal festivals, along with Samhain, Imbolc, and I don't know how to pronounce this one, Lugnasad, and is similar to Welsh Calan May. Beltane bonfire. Okay, so that was a picture that I didn't print. Beltane and all the different, observed historically by Gaels. Today it's observed by Irish people, Scottish people, Manx people, and modern pagans. Type, cultural, pagan, Celtic, neo-paganism, and Wicca. Significance, beginning of summer. So it's just a beginning of summer celebration. And I'm sure that they have them in different cultures all over the world. They just call them different things. So even if you don't identify as pagan or Gaelic or Celtic, or it doesn't say Celtic anywhere, but if you're not, Gaelic, if you don't feel like this is for you, I'm sure that in your culture, there's some type of seasonal, because if you look at the, Northern Hemisphere, that's where we are. The Southern Hemisphere, they're on the opposite side. So Samhain would be what pagans would be celebrating right now in like Australia and stuff. So it's their like Halloween type season and their autumn. And yeah, they just are finishing summer and going into autumn, whereas we're finishing spring and going into summer. They're in autumn and they're going to be going into winter soon. So, beginning of summer celebrations, lighting bonfires, decorating homes with May flowers, making May bushes, visiting Hollywells, and feasting. Feasting, always food at all celebrations, right? So its frequency is annual, related to May Day, Calan May, Walpurgis Night. I don't know what that is. So Beltane is mentioned in the earliest Irish literature and is associated with important events in Irish mythology. Also known as, I don't know if I can say this, Seschemhen. So it's like Samhain, like with Hain on the end. So Haman, but sets in front, like Set Samhain. Possibly first of summer, that might be what it means, is marked the beginning of summer and was when cattle were driven out to the summer pastures. Rituals were performed to protect cattle, people, and crops and encourage growth. Special bonfires were kindled, whose flames, smoke, and ashes were believed to have protective powers. The people and their cattle would walk around or between bonfires and sometimes leap over the flames or embers. All household fires would be doused and then relit from the Beltane bonfire. So yeah, I've heard that too, that cattle are really important at this time. So people can even have displays of cows, which in my summer decor, because I put things away so that I only have them on display for those seasons, I also put like frogs and turtles and stuff that goes with summer. And I have camping stuff with summer. And, but I also am doing like farmyard animals with summer. So the interesting thing is that I do have I don't know where it is right now. I think it's on the shelf over there because I haven't totally finished putting away all the summer stuff out and stuff. But there is a little, ceramic cow that Steve and his kids painted years ago before I got here. So you can put that on your Beltane altar or your welcoming summer altar. And the thing is also, depending where you live, because these are like Irish festivals and stuff like that, here the weather is already nicer than like on the prairies in Canada. And it's weird because people keep talking about the rapeseed. So canola, like we have canola fields, canola oil. Canola is a strain of rapeseed. So it is the same thing. So canola is rape, but not all rape is canola. But when we think of those yellow fields on the prairies, we think of late July, August, like end of summer or the hottest part of summer and everything else. Well, here the fields are already yellow. The farmers are already taking off their first harvest of the rapeseed. So we're ahead that way. But again, I listened to a podcast where one of the girls is from Florida. So even when there's all these seasonal changes, she doesn't really get the seasonal changes that you would get where you have the 4 seasons and stuff like that. So, yeah, what am I talking about? The cow. I was talking about the cow. Okay, Beltane bonfire. These gatherings were accompanied by a feast, and some of the food and drink would be offered to the Aosi, which is the fairy folk. Doors, windows, byres, and livestock were decorated with yellow mayflowers, perhaps because they evoked fire. In parts of Ireland, people made a May bush, typically a thorn bush or branch, decorated with flowers, ribbons, bright shells, and rushlights. RHwLs were also visited, while Beltane dew was thought to bring beauty and maintain youthfulness. So, yeah, Beltane dew, I heard that too, that like you on the like May Day, you go and get the morning dew and wash your face with it off of the grass or whatever. RHwLs were also visited. Well, Beltane dew was thought to bring, I read that. Many of these customs were part of the May Day or midsummer festivals in parts of Great Britain and mainland Europe, such as Germanic celebrations of Walpurgis night. So this is what I'm saying. So that's Germanic. So there's these types of festivals all over the world for different seasons and different celebrations. And I'm sure you'll find similarities in them. So without stepping on toes for cultural appropriation, do what feels right to you, even if you don't call it a certain thing. There's no reason that we can't all celebrate the things around us when things change. Spring, new beginnings, rebirth, just watching the plants grow and seeing the new leaves and stuff. It's so exciting if you pay attention to those little things. Public celebrations of Beltane fell out of popularity by the 20th century. That's what it says, though some customs have been revived as local cultural events. I wonder if they fell out of favor or if it was because of the Christianity suppressing them. Since the late 20th century, Celtic neo-pagans and Wiccans have observed a festival based on Beltane. Popularity, I read that, have observed a festival based on Beltane as a religious holiday. Neo-pagans in the southern hemisphere may mark the festival on the 1st of November because it's the opposite time of the year. So, the other thing I printed off from Wikipedia is this, because I did hear this too. So there was an ancient Roman festival of Perilia, or Pelalia, had many similarities with Beltane. Around 21st of April, before shepherds drove their flocks to the summer pastures, they carried out cleansing and protective rituals. Sheepfolds were decorated with greenery, a bonfire was lit, the shepherds and their sheep leapt over burning embers, the shepherds drank a beverage they had brewed, and made offerings to the deity Pallas. It suggests that the festivals, as well as similar May Day customs elsewhere in Europe, had a common origin in the distant past. That's the other thing. So don't let people tell you that what you celebrate is wrong, or I love this witchy stuff and I love how much I identify with it, but I don't like when people yuck people's yum. And I'm not impressed with like how many pagans, and there's lots of great ones out there, so don't get me wrong, but there's always those few who have to remind the Christians that, Ostara was around before Easter, and, Yule was around before Christmas, and that's fine. But guess what? Just like we just read that Beltane, was probably based on Perilia, a Roman festival. So we take bits and bobs from everywhere, but also it just is something that feels innate in us and natural to celebrate the changes of the seasons or the changing of the whatever, right? It just feels like I didn't decorate with bees and sunshine because I knew anything about Beltane or any festivals like that. I did that because it reminds me of summertime. So it just makes sense, which is probably how these festivals started in the first place. And Mom says, I just want to make sure I can see the comment on here, because that was the point. There. It just shows me that Mom's watching, but I can see that Mom said over there, hi, Lisa. No, she said, hi, Tina, but I'm Lisa, but that's okay, because that's Mom getting us mixed up. That's normal, but it's not showing up on here. Annie Hauser. That's annoying. Sorry, messing around again. Okay, so this next part that I printed off is, I might not read all of it to you guys. Anyways, I'll read it to myself to find out more. But I just wanted a basic overview again of Beltane and some things that you would put if you had an altar or something like that. So, but I want to give credit. It is written by Ash Elding on April 3rd, 2026. And the website, oh, here it is. Like www.pagangrimoire.com. And then /what-is-Beltane-celebrate. So Beltane, how to celebrate the ancient Celtic fire festival. There they said Celtic. Before it just said Gaelic. But, oh, Mom said hi, Lisa. And haha. Why aren't the comments showing up here? Let me write a comment. No. Well, my comment showed up on here. I don't know why, but Mom, I can see your comments. Oh, now it showed up on there, my comment, but Mom should be above mine. I don't know. Beltane. Okay, how to celebrate the ancient Celtic fire festival. Beltane is an ancient Gaelic fire festival celebrated on May 1st that marks the beginning of summer and the full transition into the light half of the year. The pagan holiday was traditionally observed across Ireland, Scotland, and Isle of Man. Beltane celebrations often began at sunset on April 30th, when communities lit ritual fires. The name Beltane, pronounced Beltane or Beltana, comes from Old Irish Beltane, like it's Italian. I don't know how to pronounce anything. Oh, hang on. Let me read comments over here. Oh, Auntie Diane says, hi, Lisa. Hi, Marie. And then that's why Mom said, hi, Diane. Okay. Hi, Auntie Diane. Okay. The name Beltane. Okay. Beltane. Comes from Old Irish Beltane, often translated as bright fire. Historically, the Celtic people celebrated Beltane with bonfires, livestock blessings, protective rituals, and seasonal celebrations welcoming fertility, growth, and abundance. Oh, also, if you're watching this, whether you're live now or watching this later, write in the comments and stuff and tell me some of the, like, your culture, where you're from in the world, and what your festival for the beginning of summer would be called, where you're from, and if you see the likeness in this, the similarities. Like the other Gaelic seasonal fire festivals of Imbolc, Samhain, and again that long L word that's hard, that Lugnased. You don't even, if you go to Wales, like Welsh words are very crazy to say. Beltane was an important turning point in the agricultural calendar. In modern times, Wiccans and neo-pagans have incorporated Beltane into the wheel of the year, where it falls between the spring equinox, in brackets Ostara, and the summer solstice, Litha. Modern pagan celebrations tend to emphasize themes of fertility, sacred union, and celebrations of spring's energy. While the sacred union of the god and goddess and dancing around the maypole were not part of the original Celtic rites, they are common in contemporary observances, blending historical inspiration with modern spiritual practice. If you're planning to celebrate Beltane today, here are some rituals, recipes, and altar ideas to get you started, and then those are linked. Which reminds me of something I heard too on Beltane that I was listening to, said about the, so some people, so the sun is masculine and the moon is feminine. And when they talk about feminine and masculine, they're not talking about male and female, like I'm a female. They're talking about, because I was born a female, I identify as a female, but I have masculine to me as well. We all have the yin and yang of things, right? There's a balance. So even though we celebrate the sun in this festival, there is a balance between the masculine and feminine. So then this is kind of what I wanted to see, was the things that they associate with it, like correspondences. That's a good word because it's right on here. At Pagan Grimoire. So Beltane, herbs, mint, yarrow, thyme, mugwort, vanilla, red clover, and cinnamon. I love cinnamon. Flowers, rose, daisy, lilac, because lilacs are in bloom right now and they smell delicious. Are the lilacs blooming where you live? Marigold, cowslips, elderflowers, jasmine. And of course, these things, depending on what your summer festival is and where you are in the world, then the flowers associated with it would be things that are in flower now in that part of the world. Colors, red, green, pink, yellow, blue, white, lavender. It seems like pastel colors for spring and summer, right? Animals, rabbits, swans, doves, swallows, cows, bees, and butterflies. Foods, honey, mead, grilled meats, bannock, which I didn't realize that the Scots brought the bannock recipe over to North America, and that's why the indigenous there make bannock. Bannock is actually Scottish. Coddle, which I don't know what coddle is. Strawberries, cherries, and dairy. Crystals, yellow jasper, which I don't have any. Citrine, I do have. Rose quartz, I do have. Carnelian, I do have. And amber. I have some amber out in the greenhouse, but but I would like to get some amber when I go to Canada. So remind me when I'm in Canada to get some amber. Symbols, maypole, bonfires, fairies, flower crowns, and hand fasting. Deities, Flora, May Queen, Green Man, Belenus, Pan, Dionysus, Aphrodite, and Venus. Ooh, that reminds me. I mean, I don't know if it'll say in here, but there are some interesting things I learned about Beltane. I can't tell you guys everything. We only have an hour. So, the spiritual meaning of Beltane. Beltane is the turning point into the light half of the year in the traditional Celtic calendar and was historically understood as the beginning of the summer. It was a threshold festival similar to Samhain when communities performed protective rites to safeguard people, livestock, and crops as they moved into the growing season. But both spiritually and literally, it's also when growth and connection is no longer hidden underground or just beginning to emerge. It's visible, active, and impossible to ignore. Finally, warmth, movement, attraction, and vitality are returning to the land in full force. And I know for in the third weekend in May in Canada, even on the prairies, like this is when you're getting your gardens ready. The rule of thumb, I just told this to Steve with our May long weekend that we call it. I guess it's Victoria Day, and I guess he said in Ontario, they actually celebrate Victoria Day more for Victoria, but on the prairies, I don't even remember most of the time what the May long weekend is about. All I remember is one, it's usually the first weekend that a lot of people go camping. And two, it's when you plant your gardens, like it said that if you plant your gardens on the May long weekend or after that, there's less likely to be any frost. So that's what I think about when I think about the May long weekend. But what I was saying is it's the same thing with the ground warming up, the things coming forth, and yada yada. So, because of the timing, Beltane has long been associated with connection between people and with the natural world. It's a season that invites participation and play rather than observation. It's a time to stop planning and start creating, celebrating, and stepping fully into what is beginning to take shape. Many modern practitioners experience Beltane as a time to follow what feels energizing and alive to you, to reconnect with the body and senses, and to notice what is growing in their relationships, creative work, and daily life. So that's, it's a fun festival. This is all about fun and energy. You know, you're shaking off the winter blues and getting out there and moving. The history of Beltane. Beltane is one of the 4 major fire festivals of the ancient Gaelic calendar, alongside Samhain, Imbolc, and Lochnassad. Its earliest mentions appear in medieval Irish literature, including the Takmark Emar, the wooing of Emar, which it's associated with significant seasonal transitions and agricultural rites. And one day in a few years, I might know how to pronounce some of these things. Beltane, sometimes spelled Beltane, Beltane. Okay, so celebrates the first of summer. Setchamhan, that's that word again. Samhain. Setchawan, okay, in the early Irish seasonal calendar, and was when communities drove their cattle from sheltered winter grounds to fresh summer pastures. Though Beltane is traditionally celebrated on May 1st, the seasonal midpoint between the spring equinox and summer solstice falls slightly later, around May 5th or 6th. This may have been when the earlier pagans celebrated the holiday. At its core, Beltane Like the other three Celtic fire festivals, was primarily a practical agricultural and seasonal holiday. It signaled the start of the growing season and the movement into a time of abundance. If all went well, cattle were central. Oh, abundance if all went well. Cattle were central to life in ancient Ireland, and Beltane rites focused on protecting herds and ensuring their fertility and survival. Large bonfires were kindled, and people and livestock would pass between them for purification and protection as communities entered the most important agricultural season of the year. Household hearths were also extinguished and relit from the communal Beltane fire. From Wooing of Emmer, that book, to Beltane, i.e. Beltane, viz. A favoring fire. For the Druids used to make two fires with great incantations and to drive the cattle between them against the plagues every year. Or to Belden, viz. Bel, the name of an idol. At that time, the young of every neat were placed in the possession of Bel. Sure. The idea that Beltane was named for a god called Bel or Belinus appears mainly in later interpretations and 19th century folklore. Most modern Celtic historians treat the idea that Beltane was named for a god called Bel as plausible sounding but not historically confirmed. The name Beltane is more widely understood to refer to a bright or lucky fire rather than to a specific deity. Beltane and the Fae. Later folklore from the early modern period, 16th to 18th centuries, began to associate the day with Otherworld and the Fae. Like Samhain, its seasonal opposite on the Wheel of the Year, Beltane came to be seen as a liminal time, when the veil between worlds grew thin and the boundary between the human world and the other world was believed to be more active and unpredictable. In Scottish and Irish traditions, it was believed that the Fae were especially active on Beltane night. Offerings were sometimes left at sacred wells, thresholds, and under hawthorn trees, traditionally associated with entrances to the other world. To honor or appease these unpredictable spirits and protective charms were used to ward off mischief. These beliefs layered spiritual meaning atop the festival agricultural roots and continue to influence modern pagan Beltane celebrations, where Fae folklore play a prominent role. How May Day and Beltane became intertwined. What you might notice is that most of the rituals and celebrations we associate with Beltane today weren't a part of those ancient festivals. Those actually come from a different tradition altogether, one known as May Day. So this is what they celebrate here still, I guess. May Day is a holiday celebrated on May 1st that emerged in medieval and early modern Europe, especially in England, Germany, and Scandinavia, as a rural, secular celebration of spring. It features maypoles, flower garlands, May queens, and outdoor revelry, all symbols of nature's blossoming. May Day may have been influenced by the Roman holiday of Floralia, which honored Flora, the goddess of flowers, fertility, and spring. That holiday involved love making. That's what I was talking about, what I heard today on one of my podcasts that I was listening to about the love making, frolicking it wasn't seen as immoral or anything like that. It was the young maidens and men would go in and celebrate in the bushes, the fertility and everything else. So that holiday involved lovemaking, plays, and general hedonism, also known as pretty much every other day in Rome. In the mid-20th century, with the rise of Wicca and modern neo-paganism, practitioners organized some of the seasonal festivals into what became known as the Wheel of the Year. Beltane retains its May 1st timing and bonfires, but absorbed additional elements from the European May Day celebrations, including maypoles, flower crowns, and May Queen symbolism. So this is what I mean with pagans criticizing how Christians made Easter based on Ostara or Christmas based on Yule. Even their celebrations have been based on something before that and everything else. So can we just all get along and celebrate together and realize that we're all in it for fun and, like this for the right reasons instead of fighting about who did what first? And, it just, some people just, let's look at the positivity, please, which my shirt says. What does it say? Grow positive thoughts. I think this shirt might be from Pajamas. I don't remember where I got it from, but it's got flowers on it. It says positive, and I'm positive, and I like it. So that's why I'm wearing it. The meaning of Beltane in modern pagan traditions. Well, historical Beltane focused primarily on protection, livestock fertility, and seasonal transition, modern pagan traditions, especially Wicca, often emphasize its symbolism as a celebration of the sacred union and life force. In Wiccan traditions, Beltane is a celebration of sacred union. It is a time of the merging of divine masculine and feminine energies that bring life and vitality to the earth. In Wicca, this union is often symbolized by the goddess and the god, whose love and connection ignite the fertility of the season. In many Wiccan traditions, the goddess appears in her maiden aspect at Beltane, joyful, wild, blossoming with possibility. She is sometimes represented as the May Queen, crowned in flowers and associated with the growth, sensuality, and the blossoming of nature. The May Queen's counterpart is the god, who appears as a green man or horned god. The green man is an ancient symbol of nature's wild, untamed forces. He is often depicted with a face formed from leaves, vines, and branches. He represents the raw creative energy of the earth, the spirit of the forest, and the cycles of death and rebirth that sustain life. I have a green man bird house outside. So you guys have probably seen green men. Sometimes people will put them onto a tree, the face made out of leaves of the green man. Although the green man appears in medieval church carvings across Europe, his connection to Beltane is a modern symbolic interpretation rather than part of the Gaelic festival tradition. Listen, can I just really appreciate, and again, I don't know if 100% fact, but what I didn't feel like doing, I need to find his name. What I didn't feel like doing because it would take too much time, and I know lots of people have done it before me, Ash Elding. Oh, I don't know if Ash is a girl or a boy or how they identify, but anyways, thank you to Ash Elding for doing this article in such depth so that you guys can learn along with me and I don't have to do as much research. Okay, so although the green man appears in medieval carvings, modern symbolic interpretation rather than part of the early Gaelic festival traditions. The horned god, a central figure in many Wiccan traditions, encompasses not only virility and the hunt, but also protection and balance. At Beltane, he is often seen in his youthful, virile form, pursuing the goddess in a symbolic courtship that culminates into their sacred union. This divine coupling is more than myth. It's also a metaphor for the creative spark that brings new life into the world. Their union represents the my brain's not working. Hang on. Generative forces of nature, but also the balance between light and dark, sun and earth, masculine and feminine. Each is vital to the turning of the seasons and the sustaining of life. Many modern Beltane rituals reenact the sacred joining through symbolic acts, intertwining ribbons on the maypole, lighting candles, sharing food and drink in a feast of love, partnership, and abundance. Ways to celebrate Beltane. Modern pagan Beltane rituals and celebrations focus on joy, fertility, connection to the earth. It's time to host bonfires, make merry, and embrace the blossoming energy of the season. While some attend community festivals like the annual Beltane Fire Festival in Scotland that celebrates with drumming, dancing, and theatrical reenactments, you can also honor the holiday as a solitary practitioner or at home with friends and family. Yeah, that's me. I'm by myself here, but I'm with you guys, friends and family. We're just doing this together. Listen, there's part of me that loves the idea of going to one of these festivals and having a crown made of flowers and dancing at the maypole. But first of all, we know I have no coordination, so the dancing would it would get all tangled. And so, but even going and watching the dancers and stuff, because there is people who take this very seriously and practice all year for the maypole dancing and stuff like that. So part of me would love to go to a festival one day and see this, but another part of me does not like people and they're in my way. And then there's all those people who I appreciate and I respect the people who take this seriously. And I realize that to some people, this is their religion, this is their beliefs, and I'm not stepping on toes for that. But then there's the other people who are just kind of too weird and too much. And I just don't have the energy in this lifetime to deal with people who are just over the top and not authentic. They're just more for the attention and for the, I don't even know, you know what I mean? So there's all those type of people at things. And that's why I tend to just like to be here in my space at home. So I'm gonna solitary practitioner. Okay, so dance around a maypole. Traditionally, dancers weave ribbons around a tall pole in celebration of fertility and union. It's a full-size maypole. If a full-size maypole isn't practical, create a miniature one for your altar or as a symbol of balance between the divine masculine and feminine. Done. Sorry, excuse me, burped when I said done. Make and wear flower crowns. Use wildflowers, daisies, roses, and other blooms and greens to honor the abundance of nature and the May Queen. Ribbons or lace can add to the festive feeling of the crown. Spend the day in nature. Take a walk, garden, go on a picnic, or simply bask in the sunlight. Leave an offering for the Fae. Beltane is believed to be one of the times when the veil between worlds is thin, and the Fae are active. Leave small offerings of honey, cream, and caudle at the base of a tree. Host a bonfire or candle ritual. Gather friends, light a fire or candles, and share food, laughter, and wishes for the season, and pay homage to the original rites. So a bonfire, that's what they call it here. I mean, a bonfire where I come from means it's a huge fire, but here, even like a campfire, or a fire in your back garden yard is they call it a bonfire here as well. So they don't mean to make a fire bigger than my garden shed. They just mean even if you have a fire in your backyard, that they call that a bonfire as well. Spend the day in nature, leave an offering, host a bonfire candle ritual. So, I mean, even candles, and we got candles burning right back there, don't we? Gather friends, host a bonfire. Did I read all of this? Hang on. Yes, I did. Homage to the rites. Bake Beltane recipes, and that's a link that you can click on for recipes. Again, the website is www.pagangrimoire.com/what-is-beltane-celebrate. Bake Beltane recipes. Try making bannock cakes, honeyed bread, or dishes using fresh dairy, grilled meats, or red fruits. Make seasonal cocktails. Celebrate the sweetness and fizz of life with seasonal drinks. Elderflower, associated with fae magic and feminine energy, is perfect for this Sabbath. Decorate a maybush. In Irish tradition, households sometimes decorate a hawthorn branch or small tree with ribbons and flowers as a seasonal protection charm in celebration of summer's arrival. Go a-maying. Beltane honors desire and creation, whether that's expressed through intimacy, dancing, creativity, or simple enjoyment of your senses. Take time to indulge in what brings you pleasure. Here are more Beltane rituals you may want to take part in, which is a link. Beltane symbols and colors. The corresponding colors and symbols for Beltane represent the themes of the blossoming of summer, fire, vitality, and blossoming of nature. These include the maypole, bonfire, flower crowns, and colors such as pink and lavender. Here are some decor ideas for Beltane, as well as step-by-step guide for how to set up your Beltane altar. Those are links. Beltane correspondence for your altar. Maypole, a powerful fertility symbol. The maypole represents the union of the god and goddess. Winding ribbons around it symbolizes the intertwining of masculine and feminine energy. You can construct full sizes or make a miniature one for your altar. Candles. Beltane is one of the great fire festivals, and fire represents purification and transformation and passion. Flower crowns. The flower crown is a symbol of fertility, beauty, and the blossoming of life. When worn during Beltane celebrations, it represents a connection to nature's cycles and honors the vitality of the season. In many traditions, it also echoes the image of the May Queen, embodying springtime joy, sensuality, and the divine feminine. Colors: red, green, pink, yellow, white, lavender. Herbs and plants: rose, daisy, lilac, marigold, sunflowers, cowslips, which sunflowers aren't even in blossom yet, but they do remind me of summer. Herbs and plants: rose, cowslips, elderflower, mint, yarrow, thyme, mugwort, hawthorn, primrose. Food: honey, mead, grilled meats, dairy products, red fruits, and vegetables. Every time it says grilled meats, it just makes me want to go and eat lots of grilled meats. Crystals and stones: pillar crystals or wands in yellow jasper, citrine, carnelian, sunstone, or rose quartz. Animals: rabbits, swans, doves, swallows, cows, bees. The fae images or statues of fae or bells. Mirrors, shiny stones, hawthorn, or small offerings to invite or honor the otherworld realm. Gods: statues of the horn god and goddess, or symbols that represent masculine and feminine energies. It tells me what caudle is, because I was like, should I keep reading? Oh, I'm almost done actually. Anyway, so what are Beltane recipes and foods? Beltane recipes celebrate the abundance and fertility of the land as it bursts into full bloom. Many Beltane menus reflect what would have been available to agrarian Celtic communities in late spring, with an emphasis on dairy, honey, fresh greens, and fire-cooked meats. Bannock bread, a traditional Scottish flatbread, often cooked over an open fire and served with butter or honey. Caudle, a warm, spiced drink made from milk, eggs, and ale or wine. Interesting. So it might be a little bit like eggnog. I'm not sure. Dairy, milk, butter, and cheese are all associated with fertility and the richness of the season. Use them in cooking or as offerings for the fae. Grilled meats. Meats like lamb, goat, or beef are often cooked over open flame, honoring Beltane's fire symbolism. Honey and mead, sweet offerings that symbolize the pleasures of life and abundance. Wild foraged greens and berries, nettles, dandelion greens, and other seasonal produce bring in the wild energy of the land. Red fruit, strawberries, cherries, and raspberries reflect love, vitality, and the color of Beltane's fiery energy. Although, I mean, they're growing, but strawberries, cherries, and raspberries, none of those are ready right now. Here, even. So you can get them in the shops, but I'm just saying if it's seasonal, they're not ready yet. And then it goes on and on, blah, blah, blah. Beltane, facts, frequently asked questions. What is Beltane? When is Beltane celebrated? Is Beltane a Celtic holiday or a Wiccan holiday? How do people celebrate Beltane today? Is Beltane the same as May Day? And here, this talks about Ash Elding. Ash Elding is a writer and witch based in coastal New England. So that's in the States, the United States, New England. The roots of her practice are British traditional Wicca and Alexandrian Wicca. She loves the Golden Dawn tarot deck, Alan Moore's Promethea, and keeps a fulgurite on her altar. I don't know what a fulgurite is. So I did get out my crystals and stuff so this is from Witch Casket, and it is, there's a card for it up here. Carnelian pendant kit. Although I think the carnelian that's in this, I don't know if that's the one that came with it or if it's one that I had that was bigger and I put it in it. And then there's all my citrine is together in here. Citrine is a stone of abundance, manifestation, personal growth, and success. Used in spells for good fortune, abundance, relationships, and happiness. And what does it say about carnelian? Associated with the element of fire, carnelian is believed to energize and promote courage. This magical stone can help us to feel empowered and overcome difficulties. It also calms anger and encourages higher self-esteem. Cradle your carnelian within the spiral pendant by separating the coils. Oh, it's just telling you how to do it. No stone is perfectly symmetrical. Your pendant. Oh, it's just telling you how to put it into this necklace. And then rose quartz, which is readily available. You might even have some. The archetypal love stone. Carry this gentle, loving stone to attract love of all kinds. Rose quartz can also help to restore trust and harmony in relationships and heal the heart from past experiences. And I don't have the other stones, but that is what's going on all here. And I think we'll just do a Beltane card pull, and then we'll pretty much be at the hour. I don't know if there's any more comments right now. Nope. Okay, so I'm going to grab my Beltane cards, and we're going to use this handy dandy past, present, future card stand for. And so my turtles and my frogs and all those summer things will just have to be on display anyways, even if they're not part of Beltane. So the deck that we're using is Seasons of the Witch Beltane Oracle by Lorraine Anderson and Juliet Diaz. Because as you guys know, I have all 8 of the Sabbats now. I will shuffle them. Oh, I don't know if it's these ones, but there's some that, hang on. So that's upside down and that, if they go that way. Yeah, so, I mean, I have shuffled some of them wrong now where some are facing one way and some are facing the other way. And this might be one of those decks, but I'll just read them, putting them face up. I'm not going to do a whatever it's called, so should we take from the top or cut? Let's take from the top this time. Okay, so this is our past. Hey, the maypole again. Did we have this one not too long ago? Maypole, I am fertile in what I seed, for there is reason to dance and drink upon the riches I receive. So we'll put that in the past, and I will get the book out. Remember that when you're reading for yourself, or even if you're reading for someone else, that you look at the card. You can use the book, but you look at the card and see what you get. Use your own intuition and see what you get out of the card. I'll bring it closer to you guys in a second. What number is it? 24. 24. Almost there. 25. 23. It's in between those. 24. So let me show you guys the card. And you guys can look at that while I read this. I'll try to keep it so that it doesn't get a glare on it. I am fertile in what I seed, for there is reason to dance and drink upon the riches I receive. So look at the card, see what stands out to you, what you're taking away from this card. What does it mean for your past? As I read, don't wait for happiness to find you. You can choose to be happy right now at this moment. Sing, dance, spend time with loved ones, and celebrate just because you're alive, and you can. Focus on enjoying life and doing what gives warmth to your soul. The situation you have inquired about is still developing. No amount of stress or worry will fix your circumstances, but you may find yourself with a sudden spark of inspiration once you allow your doubts to fall away. Solutions can come in the most unexpected ways and will often do so when you give your fears to the universe so you can go out and play. The universe takes pride in your willingness to trust in its power to move mountains on your behalf. You will be rewarded for this trust, and all will be well. Do not think you must obsess over your circumstances to overcome them, and nor must you spend every waking thought on your intentions to manifest them. Let the universe know what you need, then go and allow yourself to embrace the joys of living. I forgot to say that too, but if you guys have watched me before, then you know that usually when we do a card pull, you're thinking of something specific in your life. But even if I didn't tell you that before we pulled that card, I'm sure there's something weighing on your mind right now anyway, so that's probably what this is associated with. So that is your past card. Your present card is where you are right now with whatever situation is weighing on your mind. And we have growth. Number 16, growth. Inside myself, I've sown beauty with wounds, which speaks of my immortality in the expansive eternal song, softly bellowing in spirit. Number 16, and then I'll show you guys the card while I read. 16, growth. So look at that card, see what stands out to you in this card. This is our present, where we are right now. And turn the page because I just read that on the bottom of the card anyway, so I'm not going to read it again. In ancient times, Beltane would have been considered to be the start of summer, the season of action, abundance, and energy. The universe will present you with the opportunities in such a period of growth, but you must be willing to meet opportunity with commitment and passion. Make those calls, start researching, and be ready to make your pitch when you're put on the spot. Your dreams are out there for the taking, but you must be willing to do the work to see them grow. You have pulled growth to remind you that success lies outside of your comfort zone. This card is challenging you to reach for things that are much bigger than you'd normally go for. Do not worry about the outcome, but instead focus on what you can do today to be one step closer to the goal line. Just as farmers have to do heavy lifting during spring, pulling weeds, fertilizing crops, and monitoring growth, you will also need to expand energy to reap your harvest later down the road. Pulling growth together with bee or hand fasting is a sign that your path to success will involve the help of many others along your journey. Consider the help of a mentor or develop new skills to expand your knowledge and abilities. We don't know what our future card is yet. Expansion visualization. So this is a activity that you can do. Upon waking in the morning, close your eyes and visualize a small plant such as your favorite herb, flower, or tree. Notice its shape and color, how many leaves it has, and its height and width. Visualize giving your plant some water and sunlight for a few moments. Then open your eyes and return to your day. Every morning for the next 20 days, close your eyes and visualize your plant. Take notice of its growth each morning, visualizing it getting bigger and wider with each passing day. Once again, visualize feeding your plant with water and sun, then thank it for creating such hardy, expansion within your soul. On the 21st day, visualize your plant once more, but this time harvest its growth. Visualize picking its flowers or cutting leaves, all while thanking it for supporting you in the growth of your goals. Repeat this practice whenever you wish to see more physical growth in your daily life. I love that this is our present card, the past, present, future, and this is our present card, and it gave you an activity to do in the present right now while you're finding the growth and everything for this, whatever it is that you're focusing on in your life right now. So for our future, as I've said before, and I'll say it again, this future card is based on where we are right now. And if we stay on the path that we're on, and the trajectory that we're on, but nothing is set in stone. Sorry, his feet are backwards. Nothing is set in stone. So the future can always change. But if we stay on this path and we do what we need to do, this is where our future will take us. And the future card is the Lovers. So did it say in this last card, if you pulling growth together with bee or hand fasting? No, it didn't say the Lovers. Okay, but Lovers is 42. And I think we've had that in the last few weeks too, as well as the Maple. So the Lovers, and I shuffled, so 42. 42. Oh, I'll hold it up for you guys. And did I read the bottom? No. But it says it in the book, so I'll hold this and I'll read what's on the bottom of the card as well. Okay. Love lulls all sorrow and bewitches flesh, mind, and breath, reminding me that I am unafraid of the unfurling winds of my eternity. Perhaps the only thing more difficult than being your true self is allowing others to see you for who you really are. The fear of rejection can make you feel like you have to remain guarded or alter your truth to be more desirable. The need to shelter your heart is even greater once you've experienced heartache and betrayal, as your heart begins to fear the idea of love blooming again after it has shattered. It's natural to retreat for a time to mend the broken pieces, but the presence of the Lovers is a welcome sign that your heart is ready to experience love through a higher consciousness. Your previous relationships have taught you what it isn't in alignment with your heart. Each prior experience offers you more insight into the type of relationship you are now ready to call into existence. Your pathway to true love lies in your willingness to be open and vulnerable. Do not be afraid to show the world who you truly are. Be willing to say no to those who cannot accept you for all your flaws and curves, cracks, and baggage. These are not the right people for you. Being vulnerable with others is like sending out an invitation to join your life party. Those who show up and support you are the ones who will help you to grow and enrich your life with happiness. This message can likewise be applied to wealth, career, friendships, and your beliefs. An invitation to love ritual. And I remember now that we had this card last week as a single card pull. Sorry, emotional. There's lots going on in my head because I do take these things seriously and I can relate to things that are happening in my head and with these cards. An invitation to love ritual. Write out the words "an invitation to love" at the top of small pieces of white paper and set them aside. Think of the type of people you would like to invite into your life. This can be a friend, lover, business partner, or even future children you would like to have. For each person, write in red ink a personalized invitation into your life on one of the pieces of paper. Tell each person the reason you're calling them and what your plans are for them once they come into your orbit. Dab a little of your favorite fragrance on the pieces of paper and fold them in half and half again. Place each of your invitations inside a small memento box and place it somewhere sacred, such as a love altar. That's it. So did we do that last week? Did everybody do that? I know I didn't. So maybe that's another reason that we got this card again, because we need to do our homework, not just talk the talk. We need to walk the walk, right? So you guys, you know that it was in between seasons. Like last week was episode 12 of season 21, and this is episode 1 of season 22. And usually I take a week off, but I didn't want to because I wanted to do a Beltane special. So if this wasn't your cup of tea, that's okay. I'm sorry, but I will be back next Sunday. And it is 16 sleeps until we go to Canada. And then I'll have some of my rambling hours from Canada again. Today is day 29 of my working out. I haven't done my workout today yet, but I will when I'm done this. And what else can I tell you guys about? So I don't know what we're doing next Sunday specifically. It will be, today is the 3rd, right? So the 10th, May 10th. Yeah, I don't have a specific plan, but if you have an idea, let me know. I hope you guys did enjoy this rambling hour with me, and that you guys will tune in again. All of my rambling hours are on YouTube, even last week's. This one will be up on YouTube in the next few days. If I can't get it done tonight, it'll be tomorrow, or like I'll do it as soon as I can. So thank you for tuning in now live or later and enjoying. And yeah, check out some of my other rambling hours on YouTube. I am trying to make playlists, or so that, like all the kitchen ones will be together, or if I'm going to do these like Sabbath ones, then put them together or whatever. Anyways, I love you guys, and we'll see you next week.